Welcome back to What Are Noobs for General Disturbance. You're looking at the T92 HMC. It's the biggest gun. Well, it's not a gun, it's a howitzer actually. It's a tier 10 American SPG. It's located on the southeastbourne of Mountain Pass. And this one is under the command of Photobomber of FUN2. Now he's got a 24 centimeter howitzer to play with the enemy and do a lot of damage as well, because the stun rounds will actually do 1100 alpha, 60 millimeters of penetration, 12.4 meters on the burst radius alone, and stun duration of between 14 to 35 seconds, and that's an awful long time. He's positioned himself so he can attack the ice road, but I think from this position you can actually hit enemy tanks elsewhere on the map. Okay, enemy has been sighted. It's a Manticore, but look at this, a Batchat 25 ton, making a quick run. Rounds out. Oh, brilliant shot. Splashed the Batchat, stopped him in his tracks, 452 hit points, and he destroyed his track. And look at this, he's picking up damage assist from that one. The Batchat's not so happy now. He's down to a one shot if we get a splash on him. Instead, we're going to focus on the K91, which is the medium tank. Yeah, the Batchat's gone. He's out the game. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, the enemy's also lost an FP215B as well. That's the heavy tank. Tier 10 British heavy. Rounds out. And that's another kill. The K91 bites the dust, and that's the first kill for Photobomber. What can I tell you about the T92 HMC? Well, they made 5 of them. They were going to use them to invade Japan. It was actually based on the T26 E3 chassis, which is the same chassis that was on the hull of the Eagle 7 that actually went into Germany and destroyed that Panther outside Cologne Cathedral. It's a very big shell. It actually requires a huge crew to operate it. Rounds out straight away. Direct hit on the Badger. 307 hit points. Photobomber believes as well, I think he does believe in the mantra of keep those tubes hot, keep the shells pumping out on the enemy, because the more shells that go out, the more chance you've got of maximizing your damage, and maximizing your damage is going to give you a good result. Won't necessarily give you a win, because it does depend on your teammates as well, but the quicker the shells are out, the quicker the enemy gets hurt, and the more likely your teammates are going to be able to do damage to the enemy as well. IS-4's next target, rounds out, and he takes a direct hit, but it splashes the Badger as well at the same time. Oh my god, look at that, 1,240 hit points of damage on the IS-4 alone. I think he saw that, and that's amazing. That's a massive amount of damage by stun assist on that IS-4. And he's continuing to take damage. My gummy's down to a one shot now. He's only got 22 hit points left. And now the Heshbarn's down to 91. He's a splash kill. So you can see that Photobomber's going to go for the Badger. He's got the most hit points. Rounds out. Another direct hit, 410. More, well, it was slightly more than 20 seconds of stun as well. If it carries on at this rate, the enemy team is just going to, well, be blasted out of existence. Now, the vehicles they did make, the 5 that they made, they were getting ready, as I said, for the invasion, but the atomic bomb was dropped instead, and of course then they didn't need to invade Japan because Japan surrendered. They actually completed the 5 vehicles by March of 1945. The chassis was lengthened to take the extra weight. Another direct hit on the Badger, 453. He's now backing off. He's now one shot as well. The driver is actually out front in the vehicle because, of course, the howitzer and all the crew at the back. But in actual fact, the crew were all carried in trucks because basically there just wasn't enough space for them to carry it on the vehicle. And although there's pictures showing the crew all festooned over the vehicle, they didn't actually ride on the vehicle. It was known as King Kong because, of course, it was the a massive Arty, and he got a bit of rescue bloom there. That's partially down to the fact it's got a 12-degree arc either side. He did take out the Heshbon. The FP4005 got splashed to death there. So he's got his second kill. The Panzerwagen is probably, well, he's not one of the healthiest because the enemy do have a few other tanks that haven't been touched yet. Namely, I think their Arty hasn't been touched. That's an Object 261, so he's probably pumping out his shells as quickly as he can. We think he was seen. Oh, he has been seen, and he has been hit. He's up on top of the hill, and we might be able to get a round in to kill him before our teammates get there. Rounds out, and he dies just as our shell leaves the tube. The Panzerwagen is now almost out. The enemy is falling apart. It's not all one-sided. They did manage to get 4 kills on our team, but there's only 4 of them left on the enemy team now, and it's getting to the point where Photobomber has to relocate if he's going to get any more damage on the enemy. This thing doesn't move very quickly, only 32.2 kilometers per hour, so very, very slow indeed. They did actually make a couple of other tanks with the same chassis. It was T93 gun motor carriage. Now, they were actually carrying the 8-inch howitzer, which means technically they should be howitzer motor carriage, but they had to distinguish between the two. And of course, they weren't used either. Rounds out on the E4, and it's a hit, 428. He's really been pumping those shells as fast as he can, and now he's left only 3 enemy left, one of them on the ice road. The E4 just nuked our Object 140, and the Panzerwagon's just taken a dump on the ramp, and so's the E4, and that's it, the game's over. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for Photobomber of FUN2 in the T92 HMC. He had 1 shell left at the end of that game, Photobomber, and if he'd actually got a chance to fire it, he might have actually ended up with a Faden's medal as well for killing the last enemy with the last shell. But to pump out 15 rounds over the course of the battle and get accurate hits and do damage, well, that was very good indeed and very impressive. He also got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. And he got a win ace of 3,605, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score and see where he is. Well, didn't get the highest damage in the game, but came close because the Badger got 5,401 hit points. And of course, he was the one principally for taking that guy down in the end. 4,828 hit points went to the Object 452K, and he picked up a steel wall and a top gun. The Badger didn't get a top high caliber because he didn't get 20% of the enemy hit pool, by the way. And the third highest damage went to the MX-50B, who got 3,296, with Photobomber getting 3,129, so 100 hit points behind third place. He's in 4th place on this game. When it came to kills, you can see the high scorer was the Object 452K, got 6 kills, he got a top gun. 2 kills went to Photobomber, the Batchat 25-ton on our team, the Centurion Action 10, and the Viz 55 on the enemy team was the only guy who managed to get more than 1 kill, but only 5 players on the enemy team actually managed to get a kill at all in that game. And when it came to base XP, it's the 452K again, who got 1,325. He's the only player to get over 1,000 base. And the next highest after that was Photobomber with 924 base experience points, and 898 went to the Batchat 25-ton on our team. He fired 9 rounds in this game, 6 direct hits, so actually he didn't fire his entire mag. I'm wrong. So, okay, so he must have had some other shells available. I was reading that he had 1 HE round left, so he actually did have other rounds, because this thing carries 16 rounds in total. He had 6 direct hits on the enemy, none of them penetrated, but he did get 12 splash, damage of 3,129 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters, damage 7 of the enemy, killed 2, and did 943 hit points of damage assist, quite a bit of that off that Batchat 25 ton rubber, who actually got tracked, and then everybody shot him just as he was tracked. That must have been very disappointing for him. And 2,022 hit points of stun assist off 10 stuns. On a premium count, he actually made a profit of 57,114 credits from the game, and he didn't get a bonus in there as well, so that's a good score. And he also picked up 7 bonds because it was tier 10, and 10,395 experience points out of that one as well, because he did get a mission completion bonus on that one of 8,316. So what a great game in the T92. Usually people run out of ammo in this thing if they're in a long battle, if a battle goes the full 15 minutes, and they'll get very close to running out of ammunition, or they will use up their last round. I can remember one round myself where I actually did expire, or rather not expire, but I actually ran out of shells to fire, kept one shell back to hit the enemy if they got close. But it can be so easy to run out of ammo in this Arty, just as it does in the Object 261. You just don't get enough ammo. Wargaming ought to add more shells to this Arty, because after all, the shells and the powder were all carried in separate trucks. They weren't carried on the vehicle. And the same with the Object 261. That should have at least 30 shells. This thing should have at least 20, maybe even 30. I hope you enjoyed that replay. A nice ace tanker. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.